What's up, everybody? I'm here to talk about today's General Hospital episode. I'm just gonna dive right into it. Today's episode was, yeah, certain parts of it were pretty good, but certain parts of it I could live without. Um, let's talk about what I could live without first. Um, I could have lived without all that Maxie and Dante and Lulu and Olivia. I could have lived without that reunion of them today. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of could have lived without it. Only good thing came about that was Lulu actually realizing that it was Franco who she rented the boat out to, who she rented the Haunted Star out to. That's the only thing of their whole scenes that I really was interested in. That having her, um basically remember that it was Franco that was the one that she rented the boat out to. And I also kind of realized also doesn't know that Franco was alive, so he actually called into the station with Anna, and he found out that Franco is in lockup. So anyway, um, but yeah, and Maxie's still alive, saying the baby is theirs and whatnot. But I actually kind of like the scene between Maxie and Patrick. Maxie was actually it seemed like it was a while since we seen Patrick. Maxie was basically confronting Patrick, thinking because she actually thought Patrick moved. Britt had moved in with Patrick, and she was basically like, "You can't do this to Emma. You know Emma can't stand Britt." But he was basically like, Sabrina. She moved in with Sabrina. She was basically Maxie was like, "Why would you why would you push Britt off on Sabrina?" But anyway, those were some pretty decent scenes today. Now, since I brought them up, let's talk about Sabrina and Britt and all that. I am not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of starting to like Britt in a way. Britt is kind of growing on me in a way. I mean, we know who her parents are. Her parents are Dr. Olbrich and Faison. Um, we understand where she gets all her conniving and her manipulative ways from and all that. But I'm not lie to you. Like I said, it was kind of funny seeing her boss of Sabrina around and whatnot, and basically seeing Felix. I'll talk about him more in a minute. Seeing Felix basically come in and basically storm through the house and whatnot, and that's not gonna lie. That's actually kind of a pretty decent apartment they got. That Sabrina and Felix. Apparently Sabrina. We just found out that Sabrina and Felix live with each other. We just found that out. That they live with each other. But anyway, Sabrina was basically doing everything Britt told her to do, and Britt was basically saying something like she asked for some water. She was saying her water wasn't cold enough. He had enough ice in it, wasn't cold enough. She asked for a pillow. Her pillow wasn't fluffy enough. She basically said it was too pointy or whatnot, or too rough or something like that. That I'm not gonna lie to you, that was in a way kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, that was kind of funny in a way. But anyway, but I, in a way, am kind of starting to warm up to Britt in a way. Because if you want my opinion, Britt and Patrick are the story. Sabrina and Patrick just kind of bore me to death. In my way, in my opinion, I kind of wish they would have put Sabrina with Milo. I kind of wish that would have happened. We would have had that. But anyway, guess they gonna continue to have Milo stuck on Lulu and all that. But anyway, moving on from that, let me rant about this Dr. Silas stuff and all that. But if I wanted to really rant about him, I could have ranted about him of what happened to him in yesterday's episode. But I ain't gonna go through that. I can already tell y'all, Diane Miller is a beast. And Diane is probably most likely going to get that judge is probably going to wind up making. This is probably what's going to happen. This is how I think that's all going to happen. This whole Silas stuff and whatnot. Because Silas actually, well, before all that, Molly and Rafe were sitting there talking and whatnot. Rafe was basically saying how he basically believes that Doctor was Silas, but he basically figures you can see how great a lawyer Diane is, and how he just basically knows that he's gonna wind up with Silas, and we know that's gonna wind up happening. But I do believe Silas is gonna stay in Port Charles. They're gonna have something to keep him in Port Charles because. Silas is in New York and whatnot, and I got something to say. Doesn't he have patients and whatnot? Doesn't he have like other patients? So why is he in Port Charles? I mean, I know he's trying to get Rafe and whatnot, because I guess he feels sorry for him now, because he actually heard out how the kid's life is going about. He feels sorry for him. He wants to get to know him and take him in and whatnot. But Rafe is kind of starting to get on my damn nerves. Today, Rafe was acting like a little, in a way, slamming doors and whatnot, and basically I know you don't want to go with Silas Clay. You don't want to go with Silas, but dude, you ain't gotta be all disrespectful and all that. Seriously, you ain't gotta be disrespectful. And Molly wouldn't make it a no damn belly. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna basically read Molly in a minute. You know what I'm gonna read up. I'm gonna read Molly in a minute. But anyway, Ray was acting kind of like a little douchebag today in a way, basically. And him and Molly was sitting there talking, and Molly was sitting there telling. And he was basically he was in a way kind of reading Molly in a way too. He basically saying, "Molly, you don't want to go. You really don't want to go to the prom with me." Because so apparently now Molly doesn't really like Rafe like this. So she's saying she doesn't like him like that. And Rafe in a way was Rafe sitting there telling Molly, "You know good, no, you know good and well you wanna go to the prom with TJ, and you don't." And you only, I'm just a replacement. He basically flat out, I'm just a replacement for the guy that you really want to be with. You really want to go to the prom with. And Molly's basically like, yeah, you right, I do miss TJ, but he doesn't trust me. I'm like, Molly, you kind of didn't get a guy, but anyway, it was Rafe's doing too. Y'all didn't give the guy a reason to trust you. And Rafe was basically like, it was really me that he really didn't trust, and he said I don't blame him. He basically Rafe was like, if I was in his shoes, I would act the same way. Basically, Molly's somebody to get a little crazy over. I'm like, Rafe, you saying how this girl should go back to TJ, but yet you still in a way kind of making moves on her, kind of giving her all kinds of compliments. And Molly was actually trying to tell him something like that today, telling him that you don't have to keep saying how great I am because I'm not really that great. I've done some stupid stuff before. But anyway, back at the diner, we meet Taylor Dubois, Felix's little sister. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm already loving this girl already. She puts me in her scenes, that they kind of put me in a mind frame of a young Elizabeth on this show. Because you remember how when we first really like met Liz, she was all bad girl and whatnot, trying to be like the little rebel or whatnot. And Taylor kind of reminded me of that. She was sitting there talking to Felix, and her and Felix she was basically saying how she's there for the summer or whatever. Her parents sent her there for this, and I wouldn't mind seeing Felix's parents actually. I wouldn't mind seeing them come on. I wouldn't mind seeing them bring Felix some family. We need an African American family on this show. I'm gonna flat out say we need a black family on this show. But anyway, we don't have that black family on this show. The only black characters we had were TJ, Sean, Felix, and Epiphany, and it seemed like at one point they were trying to bring Epiphany a family on by having her son come on, but they eventually wound up killing him off. But anyway, we need an African American family on this show. But yeah. And soon as Taylor, she was basically saying where are all the guys in Port Charles and whatnot, and she said she's being all hot and ass and whatnot. But I'm not gonna lie to you, she's gorgeous. I mean, she's the actress that's playing her. I think her name is like Samantha Morgan or something like Samantha Morgan. That's Sam. Samantha Logan or something like that. But yeah, I think that's her name. She's gorgeous. She's seriously hot. She's hot. I'm glad I said she's hot. But anyway, but yeah, she's seriously gorgeous. She's very attractive. I will say that. But yeah, as soon as she looked at TJ, basically, she just basically her eyes just basically popped out of her head. She was basically like, "Oh, that boy gonna be mine." She's basically, and then Felix is basically, when TJ came up and asked if they need anything, she basically introduced herself and whatnot, um, and Felix basically left her there and whatnot, and TJ was all like, and she basically just went up and started talking to TJ. I don't know, just started talking to him. And basically, anybody can basically tell she was flirting with him. We all know she was flirting with him. And TJ kind of knew she was flirting with him too. And TJ is basically sitting there telling him about Molly, how his relationship with Molly was great at first, and then Rafe, he called him Little Orphan Rafe. And it's kind of funny how she said Rafe is such a stupid name, such a dumb name in a way. But anyway, she was basically all like, who would dump you? And anybody can just tell she was flirting with her. She was just flat out flirting. But anyway, but yeah, like I said, I'm already digging this new girl Taylor. And when really at the very end of the episode, because TJ was out to telling her how he basically had all this stuff planned out for prom with Molly, and but now she's going with Rafe, and basically, and he has all this stuff. He's basically gonna stay at home by himself. He ridden a limo with Tux and 2 tickets and half nobody to go with. and Taylor basically looking like, boy, you going with me. But anyway, and at the end of that day's episode, Molly comes in. She's basically sitting there apologizing to TJ, telling how she's sorry for breaking up with him, how she wish she didn't break up with him, and TJ basically like, I wish you didn't break up with me too. And she basically said how she wants him back, how she wants to go, really want to go to the prom with him. And TJ's all smiling and grinning. He got a big Kool-Aid smile on his face. And and out of nowhere, Taylor comes in, walks in, and says, well, it's too late. And now Molly looking like, bitch, who the hell is you? That's how the Molly was like, bitch, who the hell is you? Like one of them ghetto girls you would see like on one of them travesty shows like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. That's how Molly was looking at her like it. Like she wanted to snatch that weave, snatch a weave out of her head. But anyway, but she was all like, Molly was like, who are you? She was like, I'm TJ's date to the prom. And Molly's looking like, was basically her face basically just like she wanted to, but her head basically exploded and whatnot. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think TJ asked Taylor to go to the prom. I really don't. I don't think he asked her to go to the prom because he just met the girl. Why would he ask the girl he just met? It's kind of stupid for him to ask the girl he just met to go be his prom date. But anyway, I think I'm gonna dig this little teen storyline for the summertime. I think I'm gonna pretty much dig it. But anyway, that's really all I can tell you what happened on today's episode of GH. No,